All right, we've got a major update for anyone operating the Airbus A380. EASA has just issued a really critical Proposed Airworthiness Directive, PAD 25159. It's all about a potential issue with the wing's structural integrity. This is definitely a must-know update, so let's break down exactly what you need to do.
So, here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll get right into the core safety issue. Then we'll pinpoint exactly who is affected. After that, we'll walk through the technical roadmap for compliance, talk about what this means for your day-to-day operations, and finally, lay out a clear action plan with all the resources you'll need. Okay, first up, let's get to the heart of the matter. Why was this directive even issued? What is the fundamental safety concern we're really talking about here? At its core, PAD 25159 is all about a data problem, a big one. The directive is here to fix incorrect information about which parts can be swapped out or interchanged within the A380's Illustrated Parts Catalogue, the IPC. And if that's not corrected, it could seriously compromise the safety of the wings. The root cause is, believe it or not, a documentation error. Incorrect info about slat assembly interchangeability was published in the main parts manual. Think about that for a second. It's a powerful reminder of just how critical data accuracy is in our maintenance operations. A simple error in a book can lead to a major safety directive. And this is where it gets serious. This error creates a potential unsafe condition. If a maintenance team follows the old manual and installs a part that's technically not compliant, even though the book says it is, it could actually reduce the wing's ability to carry its design load. That is the exact risk EASA is stepping in to prevent. Okay, so let's get into applicability. Who does this actually affect? We need to identify these specific aircraft and the specific parts covered by this directive. The directive is laser-focused on the wing's leading-edge devices. As you can see, we're talking about droop noses 1 and 2, which are the inboard and outboard sections of Slat 1. And from there, it's every slat, from 2 all the way out to 7. This covers both the left and right wings, so it's a huge chunk of that leading-edge structure. Now, EASA has split the A380 fleet into 2 groups to manage this. Group 1 is a very specific list of manufacturer serial numbers, or MSNs. These aircraft require immediate inspection actions. Group 2 is simple. It's basically all the other A380s. The key difference to remember is that the initial mandatory inspection only applies to Group 1. This brings us to what is probably the most critical section for all the maintenance and engineering teams out there, the technical compliance roadmap. What exactly do you need to do, and what are the deadlines? For any aircraft in Group 1, the workflow is crystal clear, and it's mandatory. First, you have to physically identify the part number on each of those affected slats and droop noses. Second, you compare that number against the newly updated IPC. Step 3, if you find a mismatch, you must contact Airbus for instructions. And finally, you have to accomplish whatever corrective actions they prescribe. And here's the first big deadline you need to know. For Group 1 operators, you have 36 months from the effective date of this AD to get that initial part number identification done. That's your window to schedule this work into your maintenance checks. But, and this is a big one, if you do find a non-compliant part, the clock starts ticking much, much faster. You have just 50 flight cycles to get in touch with Airbus for instructions. That's a really tight turnaround, and it's designed to fix a potential safety issue ASAP. Planning teams absolutely have to be ready for this scenario. And this next point is absolutely crucial for every single A380 operator, Group 1 and Group 2 alike. From the moment this AD goes into effect, you can only install one of these affected parts if its part number matches what's in the updated IPC, the one from March 1st, 2024 or later. This one rule immediately fixes the root cause for all future maintenance work. Okay, let's zoom out a bit and shift gears. What does all of this mean for the bigger picture? For management, for planning, and for the commercial side of the house? When you look at the timelines, you really see 2 very different planning horizons. You've got this long-term 36-month window for the main inspection campaign on the Group 1 aircraft. But lurking in the background is the potential for a very disruptive, short-term 50-flight cycle scramble if a bad part is found. That requires a totally different level of readiness. The key takeaway here is simple. You have to be proactive. Getting ahead of these inspections and, just as importantly, making sure your parts inventory is totally aligned with the updated IPC is absolutely essential if you want to avoid unscheduled downtime and keep your aircraft flying.
All right, let's bring this all home. We're going to wrap up with a clear action plan and point you directly to the official resources you're going to need to get this done right.
Here are the 5 key things every team needs to focus on. 1. Review the PAD and confirm which of your jets fall into Group 1. 2. Start planning for those inspections now. 3. And this is for everyone. Make sure your procurement and stores teams are using the updated IPC from this point forward, no exceptions. 4. Get your maintenance, engineering, and planning teams talking. And 5. When in doubt, the official documents are your final authority.
And here are those primary resources. The nitty-gritty technical details are in the Airbus Service Bulletin A380 578278. Make sure your tech library is updated to the IPC from March 2024 or later. If you have specific questions about the Service Bulletin, you go to Airbus. If you have questions about the directive itself, that's an EASA question.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. This directive fixes the immediate risk, which is great, but remember, the root cause was a documentation error. So the real question for every operator is this: are your internal processes, especially for parts procurement, truly robust enough to stay aligned with the updated IPC and prevent something like this from ever happening again?